All right, it is 10 o'clock, so we are going to get started. So first of all, I want to thank you so much for signing up for Don't Wait, Automate. I'm super excited to be here today. So hopefully after this session, you'll think a little bit differently about automation if you're not using it in your business right now. I'm going to lay a foundation to get you to think a little bit differently about automation. But before I start, I want you to take a moment and look at this picture and just relax and look at it. Now, close your eyes for just a moment and think about how this picture makes you feel, what you're doing, how you're doing it, the location, and just think of all the beautiful things that you could be doing. Now, open your eyes, back to reality, right? You're no longer on the beach doing all those fun things, but I'm going to ask you this. If someone gave you a plane ticket right now and said, you don't need to pack your things, get on that plane and leave, would you have that same peace in your business right now? Would you be able to leave, drop everything right now and still know that you have everything in the background? Anybody? Nope. All right. So I'm going to talk to you about why you need automation, because automation will allow you to do that. And what I like to say is you can't scale without structure. So if you are a one-person show, which is fine because we all are at some point in our business, when you begin to scale, we often think about we need to hire someone. And we know funds can be an issue at this point of starting our business. But I want you to think about putting processes in place before people, because processes allow you to get more done first, and it allows you to identify the appropriate place to put the people when you're ready to scale. So that's why one of my favorite things is you can't scale without structure. So what are we going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about the 5 benefits of using automation in your back office, the 5 systems every entrepreneur should have in their back office, give you some freebies and some free goodies, and then some Q&A. So who am I? I'm Sonya Moore. First, I'm a wife of 24 years. I have 2 kids, young adults. My son's part of the media team back there. Had to get everyone involved. I'm a dog lover. This is Fin. She's my chief wellness officer, my CWO, so I can keep some of that peace that I talk about, right? And I love Wonder Woman. Going back to the 70s series, not just the show, not just the movie. But today, you're going to get the CEO and owner of Moore Planning and Consulting, and I'm the chief execution strategist. And what do I do for people? In my business, I help overwhelmed entrepreneurs gain peace and order in their business with planning and processes so that you can make your business more profitable. And how I do that is that I took my 30+ years of working in corporate America and repurposed it for entrepreneurs so that I could help you scale and grow your business the right way through strategy so that you can turn those ideas to income, through structure so that you can create a back office to turn chaos into systems, and with support so that you can turn prospects into paying clients. That's what I do, strategy, structure, and support, and I'm going to talk a little bit about structure today. So, I have a question for you. Do you use any automated systems in your business today? No, okay. A little bit here and there? Okay, great, awesome. So, 88% of small business owners say automation enables their company to compete with large businesses. If that's not the biggest benefit to start thinking about using automation in your business, I don't know what is. Because just because you're small, it doesn't mean you can't compete. And automation allows you to do that. And we saw that in the pandemic. It made everyone shift and focus differently on what they're doing, and automation was a key factor inside of that. So I want you to think about that. 88% You can compete with the big dogs, as I like to say. Size doesn't matter. It's about being intentional with what you're doing with the resources that you have and making sure that you have automation that's part of that. So here's some 5 benefits to using automation into your business. Remember, I said I want you to think a little bit differently about this because automation can be very scary for some people. It can be very technical. People are like, I don't want to learn another software system. I just want to get the business done. I want to meet with my clients. That's what I want to do. But what I'm going to walk you through, it's important for you to use automation because it allows you to make those high impact points with your clients. Because if you're going to get in front of them, you want to make sure that it matters. You don't want to be tired and worn out and behind the computer and spending long hours on the computer, which you're probably doing now because you're doing everything. But if you're going to do that, you want to make sure that it makes sense. So 5 benefits. 1, I call this the 5 C's, first of all. So the 5 C's, these are just the benefits. Consistency. You want to have structure. You need processes. It needs to make sense. It's like going to Starbucks. When you go to Starbucks, it doesn't matter the location, it doesn't matter your drink. You know what you're going to get regardless of the location, right? You want people to think about that in your business. You want people to come back for more business. They want to know what they're going to get from you. You don't want to be fantastic, delivering on point, great turnaround time when your business is starting. And then when business starts picking up, you get more people, you're doing everything, and then that time begins to get longer and longer. So what was a 2-day turnaround time ends up being 2 weeks because what? You don't have the process and the time and the people in place. So consistency allows you to do that because you're building your brand and you want to build it right. So consistency allows you to be able to show up the same way every time and create that order. And automation allows you to do that. And 65% less stress. How about that? Right? We have a lot of chaos and stress trying to figure all of this out, right? So let's reduce some of that stress because you know what? It shows up when you're connecting with your clients and you don't want that to happen. The next C, communication. That is so important. With automation, you know what you're delivering, how it's going to be delivered, who's going to deliver it. The communication is one of the foundational elements in your business, and it reduces frustration for you, for your team, and for your client. So keep in mind that when you're using automation, it's not just about you. It's about the benefit and how you're serving your target audience. And when you are communicating internally as a team, internally with your service providers, and externally with your clients, that communication is going to happen and you're going to open up the floodgates. They're going to know that you're going to be serving them when and how you need to. So communication is another benefit. Collaboration. Here, again, you might be a solopreneur, right? However, I want you to think differently. You're not alone, even though you may think that you are. You just need to think differently when you're collaborating. You could be collaborating with volunteers, with interns, with service providers, with family members, with colleagues. And when you're collaborating, automation brings everything together, creates one point of resource. You know who is starting what, and when that responsibility ends, and when it's time for someone else to pick up the pace and to run with the ball. Because sometimes when that doesn't happen, you have people stumbling over each other, you have a lot of conflict, you have issues that arise, and keep in mind, you are the CEO of your business. Your goal is to step back and to be that CEO and to oversee and to focus. And when you're collaborating, automation allows you to be and to wear that CEO hat. We all love this, right? This is why we're in business, right? Currency, this is the other C, to make money. Automation allows you to make more money in less time, period. You can make money in your sleep with automation. That proposal you sent out at 2 o'clock, you go to sleep, your client may not open up that proposal until 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you can hear your notification go off in your sleep because you have automation that is causing triggers to say when that proposal gets signed, that invoice is going to kick out. When they pay that invoice, then that welcome letter is going to get sent. All that through you doing one thing in your sleep. So it allows you to make more money faster, and it can decrease your expenses because you may not need as many people as you think in your business. Because with automation, as I mentioned before, it allows you to see the gaps and opportunities. And I talked a little bit about this. CEO. Do you feel like you are the CEO in your business? Do you feel like you're the worker in your business? I see a couple of head nod. All right, we do have to wear a lot of hats, but we don't have to wear them all for so long. And automation allows you to take off that worker hat quicker so you can wear that CEO hat longer. That allows you to be in front of people that you need to be in front of to pitch your business, time for you to research for funding, time for you to nurture existing relationships, build new relationships, the things that CEOs should be doing in their business. Automation allows you to do that, to be the CEO. Is this ringing a bell with any of you? All right. So those are the benefits of automation. So I hope that got you thinking a little bit differently and not just about it being scary and something new, but the benefits to make you want to start considering, how can I integrate automation so that I can do more with less time without sacrificing the touch point in business? So I'm going to touch on 5 systems that every entrepreneur should use. Now, as I talk about these systems, I want to preface that there are a lot of systems out there. It's very important for you to pick the system that works for how you do business, for your target audience, how it feels for you from a tech perspective. That's very important. So I'm just going to give you some common ones that are out there, enough to arm you with research so that you can go out and start making the decisions that you feel that's right for you. So the first system is calendar scheduling system. How many are using a calendar scheduling system? Okay, we have 3 people. So let me tell you the benefits of calendar scheduling. What it allows you to do to have better customer service, flexible scheduling, and faster connection. What does this mean? When you're trying to schedule a meeting with someone that, say you meet someone here, you might exchange business cards, whether it's digitally or physically, and it's like, okay, let's get together for lunch. I'll send you an email, and then emails go back and forth. You have to be in front of your computer in order to get that email, right? To give them your availability, give it back to them, they email you back. That's too much time. That's not what you need to be spending your time on. If you had a scheduling system, you would send them a link that would already have your availability, send them that link. They already have your availability and they are able to schedule it right then on the spot. You're now able to move on to something else. It also allows that flexibility where they have power. They're empowered to be able to schedule what works for them. And customer service, the turnaround time. You can lose money and potential prospects because your time frame is too long. You need to hit while the iron is hot, while people remember you. You don't want to wait 2-3 weeks later and then say, hey, remember me? I was at that conference or I was at that meeting and we met and we talked about that. If you were able to send this immediately, they would already know who you are, have the power to make that appointment with you, get a confirmation, and it's done. Moving on. So that faster connection is very important. So from a calendar scheduling system, here's 4 very popular ones: Calendly, Acuity, Chili Piper, and Schedule Once. I've used Calendly and Acuity. I think they're very good for startups to start. Some of these have free plans. I would say always try to find one with a free plan so you can play around with it and see what features you like and don't like, or the features that you need and then buy. Because I know budgeting can be a challenge, right? So I want to reach you where you are. Calendly is great. I know I started off with that before I upgrade it to an all-in-one system, but I think this is very good to start because you can schedule different events, whether you have 4-hour meetings, 2-hour meetings, 30-minute meetings. It gives you the different availability based off of the type of the meeting. You can schedule your location. It allows you to do everything that you need based off of the package that you have. But start off with the very first one and just see how it works. Very user-friendly, very easy to set up. You get a link. When you send that link, like I said, it is smooth sailing. It can be a little scary at first because you feel like you're relinquishing control. And it does require you to have to sit down and look at your calendar and say, what times do you want to be available for the meeting? And I know even that can be very challenging, but I will just promise you that if you can sit down and schedule your time and say what availability that you're going to have, you're going to see so much more time on the back end. It's going to definitely work for you. Next, payment system. You want to be sure you're taking payments online. Gone are the days of soul just writing checks. Now, it depends on how large the check is, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but if you are dealing with a one-on-one client, you definitely want to take online payments because they are very quick. It makes it easier. I want you to think about how easy are you making it to do business with you? Does someone have to wait for you to send an invoice? Does someone have to wait for you to get that payment? You should be able to send them a link and they can pay right on the spot, because when people are ready to pay, let them. Don't delay them. There is so many distractions going on right now with social media. You've got all the things going on in your business. You've got family. You've got obligations. When someone says, I want to pay you, you should be able to hit that link, hit that button, and get that money. Because the longer you wait, someone else can sneak in, because it happens all the time. You go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, you go wherever you are, you on TV, that $500 they were going to give you, someone else can hit their inbox and they spend that $500 with someone else. So make it very easy for people to do business with you. If you are not making it easy, I challenge you to go back and think about what you can do to make it easier. Because I guarantee the easier you make it, the more currency you're going to get to make your business more profitable. And it allows you to get paid faster. If you have to wait on a check, the U.S. postal system right now is very different than it was years ago with the pandemic. It can take you 2 days, 2 weeks, a month sometimes to get a check. Why are you withholding how long this is going to affect your bottom line? If someone can pay you online, that money is in your bank account, and the only delay that you have is for that time for that money to actually enter to your account. So you want to be sure that you're able to make it faster for them to pay and faster for you to receive it. And if it's not easy for them to do business with you, I challenge you to definitely look at what are you doing and what barriers can you remove to make it easier for you. Come on in. So payment systems. So what are some payment systems? QuickBooks, Stripe, PayPal. Very common. I know there are a ton of other ones out there, but again, these are the ones to just look at and begin again to compare and find what features do you need in your business that work for you and the type of clients that you have. So I want to preface that because again, there are many, many more, but these are just the beginnings of payment systems. So what's the third system? Business management system. Now this is where automation comes in as well. Of course, automation is part of all three of them that I just talked about. But this really controls all of your back office, depending upon your target audience. I'm not sure what type of business that you have right now, but if you are a coach, if you are any type of service provider, a business management system manages the paperwork in your back office. If you're dealing with contracts, you're dealing with proposals, if you're dealing with questionnaires because people need to fill information out for you before you can actually start working with them, any other type of forms, If you're sending out proposals and you're creating your proposals from scratch, you're probably spending hours upon hours on one proposal. I know I had that one time, and I'm like, I can't keep doing this. I want the money, but my goodness. But when you have a business management system, you have a template of all of your services already inside of the system. And you're able to change it. You're able to tweak it. So I like to give it the 80-20 rule, because 80% of your proposals and contracts probably are always going to be the same, and that 20% is that variable, right? When you're able to have that type of template and you're on the phone, say you have a lead, you're on the phone, they say yes, they want to do business, you can turn hours into minutes by literally clicking a button, sending them the proposal and the contract in a span of 5 minutes. So something that may have taken you a couple of hours because you were over the computer trying to do it from scratch, when you have a business management system, you already have the template set up, and all you have to do is just make those minor tweaks, and you now have time back to do other things, more revenue generating opportunities. And a business management system allows you to automate your repeat steps. There's certain things you probably do over and over and over again. That same welcome letter, that same thank you letter, that same proposal email that goes out with the proposal. I want you to think in repeatable steps. Those things are what you put inside of a business management system. So instead of you redoing the same thing over and over again, it's already there. You now have all that time back to do other things, and it saves you time. What are some business management systems? Dubsado and Honeybook. Again, there's HubSpot and all of these other ones. Dubsado is my fave, I will say. For my clients, I set people up in Dubsado, and it does everything. I use Dubsado. That's how I know that it works. When that example that I told you of being in front of the computer doing proposals from scratch, it literally now takes me maybe 10 minutes. I have each service created in a workflow that has my proposal, it has the invoice, it has the pricing, it has my contracts, it has my welcome letter, it has my thank you letter, and everything is set on a trigger. So I call it the set it and forget it. Once I send that proposal out, all I'm waiting for them to do is sign the contract. Once that contract is signed, then the invoice kicks out. I do nothing because it's all triggered. That invoice kicks out. Once that invoice kicks out, a thank you email kicks out and says thank you. And I've customized each one of these things because I know oftentimes people think that automation takes away some of that personal touch. You add those personal touches. That's the beauty of automation. You decide where you want the personal touches to be that's going to give impact to your business, value to your business. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so you said that basically it's a whole series of templates. Is Dubsado or Honeybook like a CRM system where so you met with the person, literally now you've entered in the CRM system, you've entered in the fields basically everything you want and all those different elements.
Yes.
And then hit the button and it basically runs through the triggers.
Yes.
It just copies and pastes what you put into that field.
Absolutely.
So one paragraph is, first paragraph is normal, third paragraph is normal, second paragraph is what you typed into a field in the CRM app.
Yep.
Based off the meeting.
Yep.
And does this replace like typical CRM systems, or is this like a CRM system, client relationship management?
It is a CRM system. It just depends on what other functions you need it to do. So it maintains all of your client information, any notes, all of their contact information. It also it doesn't necessarily track your journey if you have other products, but everything related to that particular service that they're getting for you at that time.
Okay.
And the beauty is the triggers that he talked about, you can set those triggers on a delay. So instead of something triggering immediately, you can say, I want it to trigger 20 minutes later. So it doesn't seem like it's an automated system. So again, that goes back to that customization of how you want to align it with your brand. And you're also able to go in, once you've already set that workflow, you can set approval steps. So say there's something that you need to change in the middle of a workflow for an email. Say something has transpired from the time you sent that proposal out, and then before that thank you email goes out, you want it to pause so you can go in there and add a personal touch, you can do that. And it will send you triggers in your email to let you know when a step has happened.
What about an e-signature capability, those types of things?
I'm sorry, what was that?
E-signature capability?
Yep, it sure does.
And what about document storage?
Yep, does that. And it puts everything in a portal. So you're giving your client one place to go for all of their information. So that proposal, that contract, any forms they had to fill out, all of that is in one centralized area. So there's no more emailing. Like, look at this email I sent you on June 17th. That had the contract in it. Nope, you can send them a portal link that they have access to everything, even their appointments that they may have scheduled, because Dubsado also has an appointment calendar in there. So when an appointment is scheduled, you can even set a trigger for that. But sometimes people want to use a different calendar system outside of that. It just depends. But if you use the one inside of Dubsado, it will follow that person throughout their entire journey for that particular product. So I like Dubsado. HoneyBook is good too. HoneyBook is not as robust, but more creatives have a tendency to like that one a little bit more, just because it has more like sexier templates if like you're a photographer or something, because that's important, right? Again, find the one that works with your brand. I like Dubsado. You can still make it sexy, but I like the robust nature of the workflows and what I can allow it to do. Yes.
Do you know if Salesforce?
Yes.
Any of this stuff?
Yep. Salesforce is another option too. Now I know I didn't put that up here just because Salesforce has a different price point. Much different price point. Dubsado is $40. I think the first plan is $20. If you just want to put your forms in there, because some people aren't ready for the automation yet, just getting your forms in the system can also sometimes be a challenge. So it's kind of like baby steps. So that's $20 a month, and then it's $40 if you want the automation to go with it. So for $40 a month, and the time you're going to get back in your business, and the turnaround time, and the more profitability it's going to make your business because you can get money faster, it's definitely worth that. And I'm very surprised at the price point, and I've been using it for years.
And I've tried two. I've tried Salesforce, which I use now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lesson Learning CRM. That's the original one we did. It was $10 a month, and it was not worth $10 a month.
Ah.
And Salesforce is almost $200 a month, and
Yeah.
it is complicated.
Exactly. See, Dubsado, it can be overwhelming at first, but once you get in there, I'm telling you, for $40 a month, it does so much. I see heads nodding. Barbara uses it. Right here. Yes?
With these potentially being cloud-based systems, are you familiar with any of like the security and like dealing with government contracts or anything like that?
Good point. I know there are attorneys that use this system as well, but as far as the government angle, definitely would have to do more research because I know that's definitely a sensitive topic. Good question. Good question. So, business management system, love it. And when I started off as an entrepreneur, I had no idea what a business management system was. I'm like, what's that? I know what a project management system is, but what's a business management? It manages all of your back-end paperwork, which oftentimes keeps you in front of your computer for countless hours, and it drains you of the enthusiasm of why you started your business. You started your business for a reason, right? You want to work in your craft, whatever that is. Automation allows you to do more of that. If you sit down and figure this out or hire someone to do it for you, because that's exactly what I do for my businesses as well. I help take the overwhelm out of that so you have that peace and order in your business. And I believe a business management system will do that for you. Email marketing system. This is another system every entrepreneur should have. And it's not just about having it, but actually using it. But most time you're not able to use it as much as you would like because you're bogged down with some of the other things in your business. But when you are using your email marketing system, what it does for you, it allows you to stay top of mind. And you can turn a prospect into a paying client much faster. Because if you don't show it, they don't know it. And when I say that, if you're not at least in front of your target audience 7 to 12 times just on one offer, you can forget it, because it takes that many touches for people to even begin to consider doing business with you. And if that's the case, that means you need to constantly be in front of them. Not always selling, though. Giving them valuable information for whatever area you're in. Giving them tips, giving them suggestions, giving them encouragement. And then you want to also share about your business and then throw in some promotions and things in there like that. If you're always constantly selling, you're going to put them off. Because they're like, every time I get an email from you, you're wanting money, money, money. Give me value. But staying top of mind, an email system allows you to schedule your emails out according to when they need to go out, whether you want a weekly email, a daily email, a monthly email, a quarterly email, all of the above. Staying top of mind, because if you're not doing it, your competitor definitely is, and it works. Building trust. Email marketing allows you to build trust. It's all about building the know, like, and trust factor. People have to trust you before they begin to buy with you. But you've got to build the know. The know is, do they know you? Getting to know you personally, getting to know your business. That like factor, once they like you, once they know you, then they might like you and start dabbling and buying a few of maybe your lower dollar products. And then the trust is when they start really investing in you, because they now trust what you say you're going to do and can do for them. Sharing valuable information, I touched on that already, but you want to share. What's that expertise you can share with them? Again, you're in business for a reason. You do it well. You're the expert, but you can guide them along in the process. And then promoting your services. Absolutely, you want to do that. You want to take advantage of that. Target's in your inbox. Amazon's in your inbox and probably at your doorstep too, because you probably buy Amazon. But promoting your services. Think about all the emails that you get from all the people that you signed up for. You can compete with them. Are you showing up in your target audience's email box as much as they are? Think of how many times you need to see that Target ad or that grocery ad before you even decide, I'm going to go ahead and buy that. You need to think like that too. At the beginning of my slide, I say 88% of people using automation are using it and can compete. This is allowing them to be able to compete because they're able to schedule out their emails so that they still are making time to connect with their target audience. What are some of the email marketing systems? You got MailerLite, MailChimp, Constant Contact, ActiveCampaign. Again, find the one that has the right pricing structure for you and the right benefits and features for you. There's so many. I use MailerLite right now. I started off at MailChimp, but I didn't think MailChimp had as many sexy templates. You know, I wanted to be a little creative, right? But MailChimp has strong analytics, so it depends on what do you need to get out of your email marketing system. That's how you decide. What features are you going to use? I always like to advise my clients, you can upgrade and grow into a package. Don't necessarily start off with a $40 a month package. If you're not email marketing now, why pay $40 a month and you're not even doing it? Start off free. Free will get you adjusted to it, and then you begin to see what those features are that you like that need you to upgrade because you know that you're going to start using them. That's how you can manage your bottom line as well, because being an entrepreneur is like, oh, I need this, I need that. First, you need to think, are you even going to use it? Because you could be spending all this money and not having money coming in, affecting your bottom line. Next, project management system. So what does this solve? This solves the poor communication that can happen in projects, right? If you are working with other people to get things done, maybe you work with other service providers that are on your team because you don't have employees, you need to have a centralized location of how and where you're going to store the information. That's very important. Again, you don't want to be sending emails out. You want to keep everything centralized. People need to know where to communicate if they need to give an update. You don't want them just sending an email. You want to have it in a designated area so people can go back and see what's happening at a particular stage in your project. Tracking due dates and deliverables. We're in business. They're deadlines, people, right? You don't want to leave that up as a guess. People need to know when things are due. They need to know what's in jeopardy if that due date is not met. They need to know why it needs to happen, when it needs to happen. You need to clue everyone in on whatever it is that they're doing. And a project management system allows people to work in their zone of genius. Because when people are working in their zone of genius, you've hired them to help you in a particular area. If you have removed all the barriers and challenges of communicating by saying, here's how you communicate on what you're doing, this is when it's due, people can spend time on the expertise that you hired them for. If they're caught up in trying to figure out all the non-essential stuff, you're not rising to the occasion of what you said you were going to deliver to your clients. So a project management system allows you to tie everything about that project in a centralized area, including storing documents, conversations, all of that. It's a game changer. So I challenge you, if you're not using one, consider it. And even if you aren't collaborating with other people, you can use it for yourself. Just to track your own due dates for your own projects. If you're feeling like you have to go on email, you've got all these pieces of paper everywhere, trying to figure out things, consider using a project management to track the due dates yourself. To track and organize your documents. Because even if it's just for you, you could share that information with your client. You can send them a link and give them access to that particular space to say, hey, here's what we have, comment here. And I like to say it also is a great CYA. Because when people say, I didn't know, sometimes people have selective listening or they don't remember things. It's documented. So what are some examples of some? Again, there's many more. ClickUp, Asana, Trello, and Slack. Depending upon, again, what features that you need in your business and what your bottom line budget is will determine which one works for you. They all have certain expertise and certain angles that they use, but I encourage you to go to their websites and just look at some of the demos and see if it is something that you want. Some of them have more of a complicated interface than others. It just determines, like ClickUp and Asana, those are great, and Trello. I've used them all, quite frankly, but the one that I'm using right now is ClickUp. I started off on Trello. I started off on Asana, actually, because I'm a project manager at heart. I like to see lists. But I know a lot of people like to see boards so they can move things along. Asana had that feature, but Trello was really good on seeing everything visually, so I switched to Trello. But as of late, within the past 3 months, I switched to ClickUp just because of the functionality and the price point as well. And the functionality, it's very robust at a much cheaper dollar point as well for what I like to do. And again, I just change. And because something to keep in mind too is as you mature in your business, you may switch services because you may outgrow it, and that's fine too.
Good question. I know some of these project management programs have automations in them.
Yes.
Do you have any that you like or any that have been useful to you?
You know, I will say one thing I didn't talk about was like Zapier. Are you familiar with Zapier? I like Zapier. The interface to me sometimes is a little, but I would say I like ClickUp and Asana. They integrate with a lot of the mainstream software that's out there. And it also depends on what features you like. So what do you use for automation? Have you used automation as far as integrating it using the ClickUp or Asana?
I've fallen into the trap of, trying to automate things that maybe don't need to be automated. Because I know it can help me, but I don't know exactly how it can help me.
Well, one thing I'd suggest is before you even begin to think about a software system, first think about where your pain points are. What are the tasks you don't like doing? What are the tasks that you spend the most time doing? And they can be the most menial tasks. So that one thing that's like, ugh, I don't like doing that. Or I need to delegate that. Or if you're spending 2 hours on something, that's your first step. Just sit and just think about all the emotions that you feel. And then when you do that, then think about, now, what's the next step? What is a system that I can use to prevent that, to address that pain point? And that's how you can decide what automation tool, and then you'll start seeing time coming back to you, and that'll make you feel better. So I hope that that's something that I advise my clients on, because it's like, where do I even start with all of this automation, right? You got to think about where you're spending your time doing non-revenue generating activities. That's the key. The things that are not generating revenue in your business, the back office things, you need to do that, right? But that's preventing you from being in front of your client. Those are the things you want to think about automating. And I always think about a process first before you think about people. So you're probably thinking, all right, this was a lot of information. I've talked about systems. I talked about the benefit. Like, where do I even start? And actually it was a good segue because he just asked that question. So here I want to share with you, I have a free download. If you go to iamaceo.co, I have a free download. This is actually my social media link page, and you're going to see a lot of different links on there. If you go to the second link, you're going to see this "Don't Wait, Automate," and it's going to point you in the direction of how to get started with automation. And in fact, I think if you go ahead and download that will start the process of you, especially after being in this session, thinking about the benefits, thinking about the systems. This is now going to make you kind of take a step back and say, okay, what does this mean to me? How does this align with what I'm trying to do in my business right now? How is this going to save me time? And how is this going to save me money in those areas that I need the most help with? So this resource is going to help you definitely do that. And be sure to grab my other social links there. And I have some other freebies there as well. And then also too, I just wanted to share something else that may be very helpful for you is, as an entrepreneur, sometimes we have all of these things in our head and we have no idea where to start. We have no idea what to do. We need help. We need someone to figure it out, or you just want someone to help you, guide you in the process of, how do I get out of all of this chaos and all of these thoughts, to get them on paper, because until you put something on paper, you don't breathe life into it. I'm a strong proponent of that. So I just wanted to share that I'm actually going to be having a Turning Your Ideas to Income workshop just for entrepreneurs. And it's going to help you get out of the chaos that you may have in your mind, because if you're scattered, if you're stuck, or if you're scared right now in your business, because those are all common feelings, this is the first step to get the help that you need in a very non-judgmental, stress-free zone. I call it a business party because I know all of this can be intimidating. I like to make it fun while you're also getting your work done as well in your business. And my goal is to help you gain that peace and order. So this is actually going to be a 4-hour workshop here in Dayton. It'll be at the Back House on November 12th from 10 to 2. I have a special $100 off promo code if you go to this link or go to the I Am CEO that I just had on the previous slide. You'll have a link to it there as well. But this is like my signature service that I typically do for people for them. But I want to teach each and every one of you how to turn your own idea into income in your business. And it includes automation. Automation is part of that bottom line. Automation is part of that bottom line. So that's something that I wanted to share with you as well. And then here's some Q&A. So I know we asked some questions throughout. Do you have any questions around what you just heard today around automation, the benefits, where to start? I'm here to help and guide. Yes?
Which pay system do you prefer?
I like QuickBooks because I allow my accountant access to it. And because of that, she can go in and help me align my books as needed and give me guidance. So it allows me to collaborate with her. And then I know I have all my books aligned when it comes to taxes, and I'm able to ask any questions. So that's the payment system that I use.
Would you say that the goal is to eventually have all of these various things captured in one system, or do you prefer to use multiple in conjunction in order to like accomplish those things?
Good question. So I actually go back and forth on that because I feel like if I put everything in one system and that one system goes down, my whole business goes down, whether it's for 24 hours, 1 hour. I might be in the middle of a big contract and then Dubsado might want to go down and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I see the advantages of all-in-one. My challenge for me is getting over the all-in-one factor of if that system goes down, everything that I have is in that system. Right now, I've been working full-time in my business for 5 years. I'm moving to the all-in-one because of the robust features, and it allows to track my client journey throughout the entire process. So it houses email. It houses the back office. Well, it doesn't house the back office, but it houses the email, my sales, all of that. Because when you can see your client journey, that helps you detect opportunities to create new products, to tighten up on current ones. So I think it just depends on where you want to take your business and how much time you want back, and if you have a team. Because if you have a team of people, all-in-one systems are probably best because you can delegate certain elements to certain team members. And everything is there and it's easy to report on. So it just kind of depends on where you are in your business and what philosophy you have. Right now, I am tying everything together with Zapier. So for instance, to give you an example of what automation can do. So when I use Dubsado, I do discovery calls. So if you were to go to sharewithsonya.com and say, hey, I want a free 15-minute, I'm going to give you my Dubsado link. Give you my link. You're going to fill out a questionnaire. When someone fills out that questionnaire, I have a zap that says, when someone fills that questionnaire, after I've given them permission, because you just can't add people to your email list, folks. I want to preface that. They've given me permission to add me to their email list. I have a Zapier to say, anytime this lead capture form is filled out, add them to my email list. So now I'm organically growing my email list as I'm getting leads. So I use Zapier, Zapier. It allows two systems that don't talk to each other to talk to each other. And there are several hundred integrations, so I would definitely check that out to see how you can get two systems to talk together. And it saves you money right now, right? You're trying to increase your bottom line with revenue without increasing expenses. So Zapier, of course, depending upon how many steps are in that zap, because a one-step zap is free. But if you have a zap that has multiple steps, meaning like conditions, if this happens and then they select this and it says this, then I want you to do that, you may be incurring a little more of like a $29 fee. But keep in mind, you need to look at what is that gaining you more in the big picture of business.
I'm starting to get into this automation thing, and I don't know, did you touch on HubSpot? Is that the same like?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't put that one up there because I know like the price point can be different. So I just tried to use some of that low-hanging fruit entry level automation, since this is just kind of laying the foundation of what automation is. But yes, that is a viable one.
You mentioned you were going to try to basically integrate all that in one system. Are you actually, like, is there a particular system that you're using?
I'm looking into Kartra.
Kartra?
Kartra, yeah, Kartra, Kartra, all in one. And that price point is about, it was $99, but now they have integrated tax, so it's like $106 a month. And I needed to wait till I was generating a certain dollar amount in my business to justify that cost. And I needed it to be consistent. So again, that's why the ones that I've mentioned here are ones that are more achievable as you're entering in automation, and then as you're generating your, whatever your bottom line is, you can decide it's time for me to move into an all-in-one system.
By the way, you mentioned newsletter stuff earlier, and one that my business has tried and we're actually leaving is Send. So
New
basically,
Send, I've
New
heard
Send,
of that one.
And because it's not easy to move. If you get leads from a website, you actually have to type it in manually.
Ah.
There is no integration. And
Yeah.
we've had issues with actually a lot of things being blocked. And it's like, no, they shouldn't be. It's New Send's system, not us.
Yep.
So, in the end, we're like,
Integration is key, isn't it?
but it was pretty inexpensive. Yeah, we paid for it.
I was going to say that too. When you're looking at automation too, and I'm glad you brought that point up, look at who they integrate with. Because again, a lower price point, they may be so proprietary that they don't talk to anyone else. And you're kind of stuck, and it makes things very difficult. So as you're researching, just look at, do I need this to talk to another system? And if so, what system is that, to begin to decide what works. Now, you might not be at that stage and it may not matter, but when it's time for you to grow, then you may want to shift. And it's okay to shift to different systems. You need to try it out. That's how you figure out what features make more sense for your business. Because you're going to get in a room full of people and they're going to say, I use this, well, I use this, I love this, I love that. But I want you to remember, what does it look like for your business? What's the benefit for you?
Along the lines of integration and capturing like your entire customer history and company history, are all of the various systems that you've used able to transfer that information into your all-in-one very easily, or what's that process been like? Because like you didn't know that that system was going to be your end goal. So in choosing all of those systems and how they integrate, like how did you go about that?
So I haven't moved to Kartra yet, but I do know that it's easy for me to export out of my current system and import into the new system. So, and a lot of times when you start paying a $99 plus monthly price point, they will do white glove service for you and can help you. So definitely check into that as well if you are wanting to move into an all-in-one, because they want your business and they know how much you're going to be paying at the end of the year. Because normally if you're doing $99 a month, you're going to end up paying $1,000-some a year. But again, think about all the revenue that you're going to be generating as a result of that. Yes?
Just with like Google Business, create an email address, I'm just getting started. What kind of offerings do they have?
Google?
Yeah, just Google Business account.
So that means you have a customized Gmail account.
Yeah.
Great. I was going to say definitely do that. If you're doing business, make sure you have a customized Google account. Because if you're doing business, make sure you have that. Because, yeah, I just want to preface that. So I would say Google Workspace. Let's see. Of course, they've got Google Calendar, which is good. It doesn't have necessarily the scheduling link, but definitely I use Google Schedule for there. What are some of the other things? Oh, they have Google Chat. So they have a very good video system that is comparable to Zoom. They've definitely elevated it since the pandemic. So I would definitely look into that if you have not invested in Zoom, because it does a lot of the same things. And I know a lot of large companies that use that. That fell off my radar, but as I started working with some other big clients, I'm like, oh, you use Google? Like, okay, let me try this out. And it's not that bad anymore, you know. And that's another thing too. Go back to systems you may have left, because they may have elevated. Let's see, what else? That's actually a good question.
Just like the document sharing stuff.
Oh, Google Drive. Yes, I use Google Drive a lot. Yes, I use Google Drive a lot for a lot of document sharing. In fact, I have my client files on there and I have them protected. I have them locked, and if I'm sharing, I make sure I only share with that particular client. Yet you also can share a group link as well. So you just can decide what privacy settings you want. But yes, I definitely use that. I prefer that, quite frankly, over like a Dropbox. I don't know why. I think I'm just, same for you?
I've tried all three. So I've tried Microsoft, Dropbox, and Google. I do use Google Workspace for business. The Google Drive is nice because it's unlimited. $36 a month per user.
Yes.
Unlimited drive. On Microsoft, there is a limit.
Okay.
It's only 1 terabyte.
Okay, okay.
Per person. And I've tried Dropbox, $99 a month. We're basically getting, it's still not unlimited. dads do like to have access to a drive.
Yes.
And then you don't need to use secure emails. You can give them a link, you
Yep.
can upload to secure email services, another $20 a month.
Yes.
And most people don't even like using them.
Yep.
You send a link, say you can upload.
Exactly, yes. And also too, I'm glad you brought that point up too. When it comes to automation, you also have to decide on your client. Are they even savvy enough for what you're using? So that can also determine what type of automation you use as far as document sharing and storage and links and things of that nature. So if you have a more mature audience that's like, I don't know about all this stuff, and you can just give them one link that gives them all the access, do that, because you're going to have a lifetime client. But if you're telling them to go in all these different project management systems and they don't necessarily want to use them, they may be good for you as a business owner, but may not be so much for them. So you also need to look at that experience on both ends.
So with that, I guess, within the Google documents, can you set up like a folder that's just viewable to a certain client?
Yes.
Like different folder structure?
Yep, absolutely. Yep, you set all those privacy settings that you like. Also, Google Docs is great because you can share document information. I think that's awesome. You can give them access to that. And I think the next session might be coming in, guys. So I want to say thank you for stopping by for Don't Wait, Automate. Again, here's just more of my social information, and I hope you enjoyed and got something out of what I talked about when it comes to automation.